Can one word change everything? How could one confession from Taehyung make Jungkook cry in front of millions of fans? Is this a sign of the cracking of the foundation that has been the strength of BTS? A secretly recorded moment, watched by thousands of eyes in seconds, is now one of the most heartbreaking fragments in BTS history. Not a grand concert, not a debut anniversary celebration, but an honest and simple confession from Kim Taehyung that triggered Jungkook's tears. Tears that were not tears of victory, but of loss, regret, and perhaps of separation. For years, BTS has been known as a solid group, not only in music, but also in relationships between members. But the closeness is so strong that it actually makes each wound feel deeper. That day, in a closed-door interview that leaked to the public, Taehyung revealed a sentence that sounded familiar to outsiders, but carried a tremendous emotional burden for Jungkook and the entire army that watched. "I felt alone, even in a crowd, and the only person I expected was there, away unconsciously." There was no mention of who was in question, but Taehyung's gaze was fixed on the camera, and the moment after that when Jungkook cried in the live broadcast without a word, as if answering everything. The sentence not only shook Jungkook, but hit straight to the heart of the fandom that has always believed that V and Jungkook are two inseparable friends. This chronology of events began when BTS had just finished their internal post-military meeting. There is a lot of speculation about future projects, ranging from world tours, group album releases, to individual projects of each member. Taehyung is in the final stages of releasing his next solo album. Jungkook, on the other hand, is involved in a number of global collaborations. Their busyness is nothing new, but something feels different. And the weeks before the tearful incident, fans began to notice their interactions were no longer as intense as they used to be. No live together, no witty comments from each other on social media. Even photos of their togetherness are very rare. ARMY began to wonder, but no one thought that there was a wound that was quietly growing between them. And then, the interview happened. Taehyung sat quietly, wearing a plain t-shirt. His expression was flat, but his eyes seemed to store a lot of things that had yet to be said. When asked by the interviewer about the difficult times during being part of BTS, he was silent for a moment before answering in a slow, but very sharp tone. "A lot of people see us as brothers. That's right. But as in all families, sometimes what we love the most hurts the most, although they did not mean to." The statement immediately spread quickly, like a fire that snatched the dry forest. Comments on the video were flooded with questions. Who is Taehyung? What does it mean to hurt without meaning to? Was there a quarrel? And why is Jungkook, who has been known to be very close to her, the one who looks the hardest hit? A few days after the interview aired, Jungkook went live in the middle of the night. No makeup, no background music, just her, the screen, and the millions of ARMY watching in silence. Shortly after saying hello, he fell silent for a while, then said, "I always thought we were fine." Then the tears began to flow. Not a dramatic cry, but a silent cry that is painful to watch. Jungkook did not name anyone. He only talks about missed time, distance that grows unnoticed, and pain that comes from the person you least expect. To the ARMY, all those words feel very familiar. They knew who Jungkook was referring to. They know that this is no ordinary conflict. This is guilt. Many fans are trying to understand the context of all this. In various theories circulating, there are allegations that during his military service, Taehyung had faced dark times that were not known to the public. Loneliness, mental stress, and feelings of irrelevance can build up. And Jungkook, who was also busy with his solo debut at the time, probably subconsciously moved away, not out of bad intentions, but because of the burden on himself that he had to carry. Taehyung, who is known to be very sensitive and deep in expressing emotions, probably didn't say anything that time. But the wound grows, settles, until it finally comes out in the form of that electrifying confession. Jungkook, when he heard it, realized the magnitude of the loss that he had not seen. But this story does not stop there. After that moment, many armies from around the world began sending letters, videos, and messages of support for both. They are impartial. They are not to blame. They just want to heal. The Protect Jungkook campaign suddenly went viral. Messages like "talk before it's too late" and "you're stronger together" spread across multiple platforms. Korean media began to degrade in-depth analysis. Some cite that this is a vivid example that even the most close relationship can crack if communication is lost. Others say that this precisely proves BTS's maturity, that they do not hide wounds, but dare to display them, not for the sake of drama, but for the sake of emotional honesty. Does this mean that everything has improved? Not necessarily, but that is a first step, a signal that despite the wounds, there is also an intention to heal. Not with sweet words or public clarifications, but with real togetherness. BTS has always said that they are family, and families, no matter how hard the test, do not run away from each other. Today, the question still does not have a definite answer. Will Taehyung's confession change their relationship forever? Can Jungkook forgive himself? And is the army prepared for the possibility that not everything can go back to the way it was? Clearly, this is not the end. This is just a new chapter in the long story of BTS. A more mature, more emotional, and more human chapter. Because behind the glitter of the stage and the songs that shake the world, they are still human beings. And human beings, like all of us, sometimes just need to be heard. But in the midst of a wave of bubbling emotions and wild speculation, it's important for all of us, media, fans, and popular culture watchers alike, to pause and re-examine. Is it true? Did Taehyung's confession really happen as reported? Did Jungkook really cry because of a sentence revealed in the interview? And most importantly, is their relationship really in an alarming state? In fact, there are no official statements, authentic videos, or credible sources that prove that Taehyung ever uttered the phrase. All quotes in circulation, both in text and in video footage, come from pieces that have been subjected to subjective interpretation or even visual manipulation. Many fanbase accounts, including some with millions of followers, inadvertently share narratives that come from obscure sources without accurate confirmation. Furthermore, Jungkook's alleged video showing himself crying while hinting at regret is also not a new video. Based on metadata and digital footprint data, the video is a snippet from the 2021 Live, as Jungkook responds to emotional questions from fans about the pressure he feels as a global idol. The video was then re-uploaded and mistakenly attributed to the current situation, thus creating the impression that he was crying over something that had just happened when it was not the case. In the context of their relationship, both Taehyung and Jungkook have shown positive and solid signals lately. They still support each other on social media, attend internal activities together, and are involved in the group's post-military comeback preparations. In a recent post on the Weverse community platform, Taehyung even directly addressed fans with a soothing line: "We are all working hard for the future of BTS. Wait a little longer, yes." This sentence certainly breaks down all negative narratives about emotional rifts or separations between the members. In addition, HYB's management team has also issued an official statement stating that the rumors circulating are not based on facts. We urge all fans to be wiser in consuming unverified information. No public statements from our artists suggest any internal conflict as reported, a HYB spokesperson said in a written clarification. The tendency to believe sad and emotional narratives is indeed huge among fans, especially when the narrative touches on the closeness between two favorite members who have been known to be very familiar. But here comes the importance of the media and the fanbase community to not only promote speed in spreading information, but also accuracy and moral accountability for the impact of such information. We must remember, BTS is not a fictional character in the drama, but a real human being who has feelings, privacy, and a very complex life. When a rumor spreads widely without foundation, its impact not only hurts the fans, but also affects the mentality and image of the artists themselves. Imagine how Taehyung and Jungkook would feel if they read thousands of sad and speculative comments that summed up something they never said. The fact that news like this can spread so quickly shows how much influence BTS has and how high public expectations are for their internal relationships. But these expectations should not turn into inhuman pressure. We as fans, listeners, or viewers have a great responsibility not to consume other people's emotions as entertainment. especially if it is based on incorrect information. End conclusion. It should be emphasized that the narrative about Taehyung revealing something that made Jungkook cry until their relationship reportedly cracked is not supported by real evidence. The news is growing wild because of pieces of old events that are carelessly connected by a certain person who is looking for attention or sensation. In fact, Taehyung and Jungkook remain solid, remaining part of a BTS that is now preparing to welcome a new era after completing their respective military obligations. ARMY, a community that has been known for love and loyalty, is expected to continue to support the members in a healthy way, not easily provoked by unverified news, and continue to spread the positive spirit that has been a strong foundation between BTS and its fans since day one.